Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, friends of Japanese prints. Welcome for the show. I'm Dieter Ventura, and I'm the owner of the Artelino company. We sell Japanese prints in weekly online auctions. In today's video, I want to present 5 selected prints, all woodblock prints from the current auction. And these 5 woodblock prints are by 4 artists, and the artists are Osamu Sugiyama, well, you know, one of my favorite contemporary artists, and 2 prints by Ando Hiroshige, the great master, landscape master of the 19th century. Well, then an album by Senpan Maekawa, and last but not least, a woodblock print, a roundel by Clifton. So don't run away. Our print number 1 by one of my favorite artists, Osamu Sugiyama, born in 1946. And he's not only a wonderful printmaker, he's also a passionate hiker and mountaineer. And, well, nearly all the prints by him show mountain scenes, wonderful mountain scenes. And I now show that one in real. It shows a mountain formation from southern Tyrol, from the Dolomites. And there's something special about that regarding me, because, well, I have some personal memories which are now so roughly 40 years old. Yeah, this shows a mountain formation called in Italian Sassolungo, or in German Langhovel, and it has one of the steepest ski slopes. It used to be one of the steepest ski slopes in Europe, because now for many years it's blocked. There had been many deadly accidents during the winter. And you see, somewhere in there, I'm not 100% sure, well, you take a funny little cable car up there, and then is this very, very steep slope. And I was there with my best friend 40 years ago, 1 week of ski vacations in the Dolomites, and it was wonderful. And we took that funny little cable car, got out of the cable car on top, and it was cold, and I think it was snowing. And we came to the ridge and looked down, and it was like, ooh, oh. Anyway, we jumped into it with all care, and we made it. And when we arrived safely in the valley, we looked at each other and said, shall we do it a second time? And we said, no. Anyway, it's good to have some memories, some nice memories which, well, ended successfully. And when you can look at it 40 years later, it's like, well, those were the days, my friend. We thought they'd never end. And that was a mistake, of course. Of course, they had an end. But I'm glad we made it 40 years later. But back to the print. Yeah, pure Moku Hanga. And I want to show you the artist in a few photographs that we received, well, I think 1 or 2 or 3 weeks ago. Let me see. Here he is, the great, wonderful artist. Let me move a little bit back so that you can see it better. Osamu Sugiyama, who not only makes these prints, he's also a passionate mountaineer and hiker, and everything that he shows. Of course, he first took photographs, and then when he was back in Japan, he started to make woodblock prints out of it. And it's all handmade, my friends. So, a little bit more. Here you see another print. You see, some of them are rather large. And next one. Oh, he likes cats, yeah, and the cats like his prints. And there you see him carving. And you can imagine, yeah, how much work that requires, yeah. The reserve of this print is US dollar 300. And when you look, I mean, how it's done, you have to admit it's very, very cheap. Our number 2 is a masterwork, a master by a great master of Japanese landscape prints by Ando Hiroshige and by a famous master series. The series title is Famous Views of Edo. Let me show you the original that we can offer in the current auction. So just that you get an impression for the real size. Well, this series, 100 Famous Views of Edo, it was published between 1856 until 1858, so over 3 years. And 1858 is also the year of the death of the great master Ando Hiroshige. His best pupil and follower, Hiroshige II, he probably helped his master with a few of the designs, and probably also 1 or 2 designs were later added by Hiroshige II. Well, this one shows Atsuma Bridge. You see it here in the background in Edo over the Sumida River, and a temple there in the background. And title of this temple, the name of this temple, Kinryu-san or Sensoji Temple. And here in the background, port of a ship, which is so typical for these unusual perspectives used by Ando Hiroshige, especially in this late series, Famous Views of Edo. This print that we can currently offer in our auction is an original. An original means from the original blocks, not a reproduction. And originals from this series, they are not cheap. So the reserve, my friend, is 1,200. And I think it already has a bid, already a counter bid. And you have one more day now to bid on that famous and rare print. The next selected artwork, my friends, is not a single print, but a complete set of prints, an album, and it's by Senpan Maekawa. Senpan Maekawa, one of the leading artists of the so-called Sosaku Hanga art movement. I'm not going to explain that now, but when you see the images, well, you get kind of an impression what it looks like. Senpan Maekawa was born in 1888 and died in 1960, and he had made between 1941 and 1959 overall 5 album sets, 5 sets of woodblock prints. And in our current auction we can offer you one. It's the 4th album, the 4th set. Now let me show you that. You see, it's rather large. And well, this is actually the backside. But old Japanese books, well, they you start reading them from the backside the other way around. Then we are used to it. Now let's open it and let me. Let's be careful. It's valuable. It's valuable. Well, that's huge. You see, can you recognize it? Okay, fine. And you see, it contains 20 prints. Always one print on the left side and a text, an explanation text in Japanese characters that most probably you will not be capable of reading anyway. On the right side, let me show you maybe another one. Let's just see at good luck. You see? All right. And the topic of these overall 5 album sets was always hot spring resorts. Hot springs, still until our days, very popular among the Japanese population. Well, what else to say? I already mentioned, okay, 20 woodblock prints in this set, in this album, and the reserve is pretty cheap, too cheap, my friends. So place your bids on it. It's a good opportunity, and it's rare, by the way. Well, the reserve is $800 only. The selected artwork number 4 is by Ando Hiroshige, also from a famous series, and it's also a popular and famous design from this series. Well, the series is the 53 stations of the Tokaido. Ando Hiroshige had made several series about the Tokaido. I think it's more than 2 dozens as far as I remember. And this series is called the Gyosho Tokaido. Why Gyosho Tokaido? Well, because it uses a cursive calligraphy for the title. And now let me show that one to you. It comes with a mat. It's rare and it's valuable, so let's be careful. It comes with a mat, and it's slightly pasted to the mat, so can you see it? Okay. And it shows the station of Ishiyakushi, and it's definitely, well, in my view, it's the most popular and most famous design in the series, because it shows a winter scene. The station of Ishiyakushi, it's the number 45 from the series, and it has a reserve of US $800. Currently already has a bid, might also have a counter bid, I'm not so quite sure, but you have one more day to bid on it. Well, the last artwork that we selected for you for this video, out of a total catalog of 165 or I think 168 Japanese prints or Japanese artworks, is a woodblock print by Clifton. Okay, let me show it in real. It's a roundel. It's a limited edition. It's the number 31 out of 100, and the title is Snowy Afternoon. Snow can be recognized easily. Afternoon, well, okay. We have it in the title, so no problem. And Clifton Call. Yeah, let's show. I have a portrait for you. Let me show. Yeah, here we have him. Clifton Call. An American born in the US, and he studied art, I think in Minnesota, and came to Japan for the first time as a GI of the US occupation forces while he was born in 1927. Well, then returned again to Japan, this time as a missionary, but he soon was kind of disillusioned by this job, and then went back to his roots. He studied artist, and he discovered the Japanese way of making traditional woodblock prints. And this is where he started. And then he remained in Japan until he passed away in 2007. And he became rather famous in Japan, because someone once said, well, he was more Japanese than the Japanese themselves, and he beat them in their own fields in making Japanese woodblock prints the old tradition. Clifton Call, famous artist worldwide, well, his prints are in all renowned museums, and well, those limited editions signed by him, and this is such a copy. Signed by him, they are not quite cheap. This one has a reserve of only $650. Well, my friends, we've come to the end of this little video. The current auction will end tomorrow. March 21st of 2021 at 8 p.m. our local time. Our local time, that is Central European time. We are located in southern Bavaria, and we are usually always 6 hours ahead of US East Coast. So I would be pleased to see you in this auction, and of course I'm always pleased to see you in our videos. So by now I think we've produced 150 videos, always about Japanese prints over the recent 2 years. And if you want to have something to laugh and want to see me 10 years younger, we already started making videos about Japanese prints 10 years ago. Of course, low resolution, not the very best, but go to YouTube, type in artelino, and you will find them all, or go to our website artelino.com to our video section. Well, thanks for watching and have a good time.